winter versus summer. Does time of the year really make that big of an impact on your lap time? The answer is yes. There's almost a second between each season, and the season that is faster will shock you. Today we're going to be going over how weather conditions affect the performance of the kart and the speed of your lap. And we're going to expose to see if the time of the year you decide to go karting will make you faster or more likely slower. Okay, let's compare two laps side by side. By the end of the lap, we'll be able to see which one is actually faster. Alright, on the left is the winter time ran by Colin. On the right is the summertime ran by me. They both have a draft because I feel like that's fair. Might as well give both of them the best chance we physically can. The one on the summertime was ran inside of my visor, so that's why it's a little bit glary. But going through here, you can already see the winter time somehow is getting to roller coaster faster. And by the time summertime is going through double apex, wintertime is already on the exit. Wintertime already has a pretty decent gap. They're already at the apex of light bulb as we are going into light bulb. Going to top of the world, once again the gap is just furthering. So what is going on? I mean you can see I'm losing pole from that. It's just a part driver. But I mean you can see, right, going into 7 and 6, they're already at the apex coming out of it. But I want you to notice one thing, right? How much more sliding is happening in the wintertime stuff. The tires are squealing a lot more in the wintertime than in the summertime ones. So Cole's letting me by. I mean, I'm still green on the micron, so I mean, it's a decently fast lap. But yeah, I'm not even into 3 by the time they're getting to the apex. They're sliding a lot more getting into the turn, though. Going through there. I mean, you can see Colin's jolting that wheel. I mean, I'm dancing my wheel a little bit too, but not nearly quite to that extent. Colin with the undercut. Oh my gosh, that's kind of a beautiful move. And across the finish line goes the winter time, followed up by the summertime by almost 2 seconds. So, what's going on here? How is winter faster than summer? It all comes down to temperature. So, what does temperature have to do with go-karting, and how does that equate to a faster lap time? If we can take a trip back all the way to 6th grade, I'm going to go back to the 3 states of matter: solid, liquid, gas. Solid, right, you see that there's a lot of molecules compact really closely together because they just don't have a lot of energy. As we go to a liquid, molecules start to have more energy and they start to balance each other around just a little bit more. And as we go to a gas, there's not a lot of molecules in there because they're bouncing around with so much energy, they shove each other out of there. As we increase energy in a confined space, there will be less molecules because they have more energy to shove each other out of the way. Now, in go-karting, winter versus summer, 40 degrees versus 80 degrees. As we go up in temperature, or adding more energy to a system, this confined space becomes less dense. There's less molecules in that confined space. With air, how does that equate to karting? It equates to making power. Because, as we know from internal combustion engines, the more air you can put into the system, the more gas you can add in. It needs to have a specific air-fuel ratio. In order to put more gas in, you need to put more air in. That's why turbochargers exist, that's why superchargers exist, that's why nitrous exists, to get more air so we can burn more gas. As we get hotter, air becomes less dense. There's less air to burn, so therefore the engines have to burn less gas, making therefore less power. That's why if we look back in the clip, going into roller coaster, the wintertime got there, 0.3 seconds faster than the summertime did? It makes a big difference because of that. So wintertime makes more power, so it's better on the straights. But then going into temperature, there's a second thing we gotta think about, and that is the way we can put the power down, aka the tires. If you've seen any Formula 1, you know that tires need to be at a very certain temperature before they can really grip up. In the wintertime, if it gets too cold, the tires just can't get up to that temperature and can't make grip. That's why if you saw in the wintertime clip, they're sliding around a little bit more. And in the summertime clip, they're pretty planted because the hotter it gets, the more those tires can easily get up to temperature. But as we know, if we see like the C6 compound used in Formula 1, it's only used for like 3 laps because it overheats. And tires have a very certain threshold window where if they're too cold, they don't make grip. If they're too hot, then they give up essentially. They're so hot, the rubber just melts and it just slides. It doesn't stick. It just gives up. And that's what we can see later on in the summertime clip. If we see me going through 7 and 6, you see I lose my front end. By like lap 5, my ability to turn is significantly decreased because I've overworked the front end so much that it's just overheated and it just slides, and there's a lap gone because you have to manage down tire temperatures. So, what we learned? That wintertime, you can make more power and you can have more reliable grip. Moral of the story, as we're coming into the wintertime, start thinking about going to your local outdoor track if they are open during the wintertime, because it is the best time for you to run a fast lap. If it is raining though, that's not a bad thing. In fact, me personally, I like it more in the wet than the dry. If you want to see me explain why or explain some tips and tricks on how to do better in the wet, leave a comment down below. If you just want to see some tips and tricks on how to just race go-karts in general, also leave that below. Leave any questions you have in the comments below. If you like this karting stuff explained in simple scientific terms, subscribe, leave a like, let me know you like this stuff, and I'll continue posting this stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.